Yep. We'll bring
Hi,
you back on.
everybody. We are here, and here we go.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus SideZ Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus SideZ Podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus SideZ Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus SideZ Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
"20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
I'm Dave Knapp, man on the Mounjaro. That's why I'm here. Big news for Semaglutide. I'm the most elusive of all the doses. So I have a couple theories, and I'm interested to hear yours. The first, who likes my Karnak hat?
Jokes about Trizepatide.
You are on the pen.
That's right, Dave, the GLP-1 news correspondent. Welcome.
Yeah.
Podcast.
God, I have to
Texted him today, and I was like, so much of our tea comes from you because I get my tea from you. I was like, can I just say it from Dave? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. All right then.
Dave.
And all I did was a Google search, and I found tea today. I mean,
because there's so much tea. You can't
just a
cover all.
Google. Actually, no, I didn't even go to a Google search. I went to a government
This
website.
subject just blows up every year. Like, well, I say every year, but
I do it almost like monthly, weekly lately. Shoot, daily.
Daily. Yeah. Like every time I turn around, it's something else.
Yep.
Anyway, hey guys. Welcome to the
My husband was like, what are you wearing?
What does it say? Cottage.
Hello, Sandra. How you doing, madam?
Hey, Sandra. Hopefully we got some new people coming in.
This is from Carolina's Reverie.
Yeah. Oh, is that from Reverie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cottage. Yuck on the cottage cheese.
Whatever. I just made chicken crack soup out of cottage cheese. I pureed the snoggins out of it.
Yeah.
And I have a way of making Greek yogurt into cream cheese. I made a video, but I'll make another one. And then, of course, hey, Jesse. And then you got to put the regular cheese in, chicken, and a ranch packet. And so, because I've been going balls to the wall with crock pot soups this week. So
yum. I love a good soup. I'm glad. We're so glad to have you. People usually kind of trickle in late, as do we apparently. That was a shitty thing. I'm sorry, but we do. We always have something that goes wrong lately. I don't know what
it was. This. I was trying to make my new microphone work, and it's not working. But I figured it out.
Can you make yours go a little closer?
But I figured it out.
Sounds great that way.
That's why I got this one. But see, I have to go downstairs and get my headset, and I'm wearing shorts. Y'all don't want to see that.
No, I don't want to see it. No, I'm kidding.
You want to see my new tat?
I do want to see your new tat. How's it healing? Oh, you haven't got it colored in yet, you chicken.
No, it takes two sessions.
I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would take 3 for me. I'm a chicken. I have one tattoo. It's this big. It's on my back. And it's a peacock. And I
did not know Kim was tatted up.
Yeah, only one. And
yeah, just the one.
Yeah, just the one. And it's like I got it when I was like 20. And so it's, it's an old lady now. Now it's kind of, it's a little sad.
Faded and stuff.
It's very faded. Yeah. My dad always goes, I just hate that bird. Why you got that bird on your back? And I'm like, are you kidding me? My sisters are covered in tattoos and he doesn't say a word. I'm like,
that one's so faded.
All right. That's a conversation for therapy. I'm going to whip myself back into shape. Back.
There we go.
Plus SideZ Podcast. Hey, everybody. Gosh. Again, lots of tea tonight, including new tats.
Wait a minute. This is an NSV. Holy crap, guys.
That is an NSV. Look at that. That was some good range of motion.
Wait a minute. Here we go.
Don't pull something.
NSV, guys.
Please don't pull something.
Oh. Yeah, I just did legs today, too.
Oh, you did? So that's why you're so like nimble. All right. John's favorite word, agile.
This sounds like the old company we worked for.
Yeah, it does.
That why?
Don't.
She's casual.
Don't trigger me, okay? Don't trigger me.
No, it's not a tramp stamp. My dad was a heart attack. No, it's not a tramp stamp. It's
what? We're gonna have disciplined freedom.
Oh Jesus! Translation: we don't know what we're doing. Yep. We are going to mess everything up, and we want you guys to field all the crap.
Brian, thanks for coming on with us last week.
Brian.
These weeks go into each other.
That was his episode comes out in 2 weeks.
Oh,
hey, Spoonie. 100 pounds lost. New tattoo times. Is that your reward?
Oh yes,
that's
you know what? That's right, Kim.
Yeah,
you should convert that tattoo and put like 100 lbs on it. I mean, I'm saying
converted. No,
because you always have your tattoo done over. My husband's had several of them done.
Baby, isn't Brian's episode the one that you guys just did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his will go. You've got Dr. We'll talk about that later. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
That was the one we just did.
I'm always trying to remember the old.
We talked about it.
Discipline.
Oh, you said 2 weeks. Okay, sorry. No.
Discipline, freedom, agile, agility. What's the other one?
It was cagility, candor.
Candor. But only candor if it's beneficial to them. It makes them feel warm and fuzzy.
Only candor if it's beneficial to them. Exactly.
Oh, that was an interesting place.
Okay, enough of that.
Yeah,
anyway,
they didn't
for none
like
of the people that have any idea what we're talking about.
This is where we all met. We all are still trauma bonded by our old job.
Yeah. You gotta admit, though, we walked out with a lot of really, really good friends from that company.
No doubt.
Maybe not so much.
I have a lot of friends still from there. A lot of really good friends.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because we had to.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We made a lot of friends. What did you say, Kim?
Because trauma.
We're trauma bonded.
Okay.
It ties that bind.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
Clearly. Because it's not like, I swear, our ADD is like boom, boom, boom all over the place today. Okay. Listen. Hey, y'all.
It's been a busy day.
Tonight we have a community guest. And I will invite her in shortly. And then we've got so much to talk about because like we were saying in the beginning, like Q4 is the time, I swear, that all the stuff explodes. It's like, how much shit can we like talk about this until like through the year? They've exploded. You think like it's not that long of a time, especially if you have been on these meds a long time, but we've been on them over 2 years. So, I mean, like for me, when December gets here, that's 2.5 years. Like, and I don't know about you, but like in GLP world, I feel like it's been like 5 years. It hasn't, but it feels like it. Like I feel like I've just had so much life in these 2 years, you know, like you just pack it in, you know?
Well,
definitely.
We have all virtually gone through therapy in front of the world for 2 years too. So.
Yes, for sure. I've gotten much better at that. Now I pay someone professionally.
Ah, here it is.
Yeah. It was necessary.
Anyway, caffeinated.
Enough of that. All right. So let's find in our guest. And then yeah, ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Set.
And Sandra, just so you know, I'm looking to find a way to just send out a link. I'm looking in YouTube's admin side right now to try to find it. So
you send out a link for what?
For joining the podcast apparently, and I just looked.
For
I never
members,
paid
you
it.
mean?
Yeah, because I never paid attention to it myself when you're on YouTube on the phone, and I guess it's probably in the iPad too. You don't see the join option.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I never noticed
You
it
mean
before.
for a member? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, to become a member in YouTube. So I'm looking for how I can just grab the link out of our admin side and send it.
Yeah. Okay. For sure. Okay. I like
Yeah.
it. Please be a member. It would be great because we're all in at this point, you know.
Well, you're also going to keep the camera on after this episode and be total buffoons. That's okay. But you only get to see the buffoonery if you're a member.
Yeah, that's right. I also want to start doing. We've started doing additional content and stuff too, which is great. Bear's helping with that, like especially with things that are happening in terms of like legislation. We're trying to create like highlight reels and all this different stuff. Anyway, I digress. Let me invite in our guest.
You know, Dee, I love the background. It's beautiful.
Let's go back. Hey, Dee. Or we Dee.
Hey, Kat. Hey, Kim.
Beautiful where you are. I love the sunset and the wow.
It's going to go away in a few minutes.
Yeah.
It went away just that.
Whoa. Did you see how fast that was? Okay. It was just like it was readjusting.
It was readjusting, but it's going quickly.
That's a view.
Thank you.
Where do you live again? I forget.
Chicago.
Oh,
the Windy City.
It is, especially my corner. We're on a wind tunnel, which is great.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
No, I really thought that was kind of like not true, but our company that we all worked for with the trauma bond and all base is off LaSalle in Chicago. So I fly there every quarter and it don't lie. And like it gets so cold there, like your lungs freeze. Like I just I don't know how you do it.
So now that I'm retired, it's not as difficult. Okay. I just don't go out. I go down to the heated garage. I get in my car. I drive to stores with indoor garages. I get out. Sometimes I can just go in my sweats or my new comfort sweats, whatever it's going to be, and go do what I do. And as long as you have nothing that happens to you between there and your destination where you have to get out of the car, you'll be fine.
Yeah, totally.
I grew up in South Dakota and Nebraska.
Oh, South Dakota.
But we didn't have garages where you could park. Oh, no. We were out in the elements. We were out on the Great Plains and it was windy.
Oh, yeah. No. And, Chicago is sort of sitting on a Great Plain. I mean, it's just we have a lot of tall buildings. We are as flat as a Mounjaro butt. Okay.
Yeah, Mounjaro butt. Chicago is Mounjaro, but Chicago is. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, you know what? I probably need to visit Chicago when I'm not working. That was the only time I went was for work. We went to the Chris Kindle market though.
Oh yeah, and that's getting ready to open soon. I just got a post.
Did you go?
It's getting ready to open very soon, and they're not going to have the one over here at Wrigley Field. I live right a walking distance from Wrigley Field, but they're not going to have that one. But they're still going to have the one you went to downtown. So we've got that going on. We got the river. We got a lot going on here, and then winter comes when everything just shuts.
Food is good in Chicago. Also,
tell me about it.
Right?
I know. Isn't that a good segue?
Wasn't it though?
Let's pretend I did that on purpose.
Okay.
But Dee, we're so glad to have you here. I remember when I reached out to you and I was like, hey, you want to come on the live? And you were like, I mean, I kind of feel like my story isn't anything special or isn't this, that. And I'm like, that's kind of the point, right? Like that, because everybody, it's everybody, right? Like I say this, like, in a way that BC doesn't care, right? Like it doesn't care. It's everybody's story, and I just think everybody has like different variations because we're all different humans, but ultimately being able to represent that there is no, I don't know how to just describe it, but it comes for everybody, Yeah. And so I think that's the point. And so I would love to hear like what your journey has been like from ever dealing with weight or anything that you feel like these treatments have helped with. And then anything that you like want other people to know that you feel like you've learned that might help them. And I want you to be able to take the space, unfiltered, uncut, and Kat and I will go on mute because we are interrupters.
I will go on mute as well.
Okay. Thank you guys. Oh, they really did go on mute. They didn't lie to me. Okay. let me start with I'm pretty old. I'm a big number. Okay. I remember everything that happened in the 60s, even the Nixon-Kennedy debates. That's how old I am. But with all that said, growing up as a child, I would never say I was obese, ever. I never thought about it. If you saw pictures of me, you say, oh no, this kid never had a weight problem in her whole life. And I never thought about it. You know, I grew up with Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield. Women had curves. Then long about 1965, long in there, maybe when I was 12, well, I won't tell my age, long about when I was a preteen, a model came along with the British Revolution named Twiggy. And then suddenly we learned about body types. Suddenly you were or you weren't a Twiggy. That was it. Thin was in, mini skirts came in. All the models, the British models, all had long legs. Patty Boyd, Chrissy Shrimpton, all of them. California Girls became a hit. I mean, suddenly it was just, you instinctually knew you were either thin or you weren't. Now, that doesn't mean you walked around saying you were heavy. Mama Cass, that was heavy. Janis Joplin, which is so funny. I saw her dress at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do you know what size she was? She was a size 6. Okay, we thought she was huge. Size 6. The dress is a tiny thing. I couldn't get my arm in it now if I wanted to. Anyway, we knew you didn't want to look like Mama Cass and you didn't want to look like Janis Joplin. We had Cher. Our role models were just, and they all had long hair. And so instinctually, I think, we just figured you don't eat. I don't know how else to describe it. I can't describe there was diet culture. I did know my mom had joined Weight Watchers. That I did know. Don't mean to trigger you, Kim. I'm sorry. But it's going to come up twice in the conversation, okay?
I'm in a much better place 2.5 years.
Through therapy.
I do remember, and I remember it was geared to moms, but if the mom was on Weight Watchers, you were all on Weight Watchers. Yeah, it's just the way it was. And I remember Weight Watchers popcorn was crumbled up raw cauliflower with butter salt on it. And that's what we ate when we watched a Saturday night movie. Anyway,
Can I ask you a question about Weight Watchers?
Yeah.
Is it true that you had to eat liver once a week back then?
Yes. It was like chicken 4 times a week, fish 4 times a week, beef twice, and liver once, something to that effect. And it was never happening for me. But anyway, so that was like the mid to late 60s. We just instinctually didn't eat. I don't remember 16 magazine, teen magazine coming at us with diets and things like that. We just sort of knew you were supposed to be thin. And I was. If you saw pictures of me, I was. I was not lanky like many of my friends. That's the word I'm going to use. Some friends were naturally lanky. I was not lanky. Okay. So that went into 60s, the 70s. It was still a thing. And that's about when Mademoiselle, the fashion magazines, all of that started coming in and diet culture started coming in. At the cover of every magazine had, lose 5 pounds in a week, do this, do that. At the same time, I ended up working in rock and roll. I promoted rock concerts. And that, again, instinctually made me thin. If you are around rock stars all the time, if you've ever seen Mick Jagger in person, he's a twig. He's a bone-thin man. And all the guys in these bands were. Not to mention, the women who came backstage were all models. And tiny, gorgeous little things. So again, instinctually it was just like, don't eat. And then, there were sex, drugs, and rock and roll, which didn't hurt the dieting effort in any way, shape, or form, I might add. Okay, you stay out till 5, 6, 7 in the morning. Not a lot of restaurants open at that time. So all through the 60s and the 70s, very thin. Long about the 80s, I started to notice it was becoming a struggle to keep weight off. I was hitting my 30s, and it was starting to be a bit more of a struggle. And we were also being hit with Playmates, the Amazon models, the supermodels, the Cindy Crawfords. So then it became very confusing. Was I supposed to be like this, or was I just supposed to have big boobs and no hips? But whatever it was, I wasn't. And again, if you saw pictures, you'd go, oh my God, she was nuts. Because I look at the pictures now and go, oh my God, what did I do to that poor girl? She thought she was huge. Again, I call it instinctual. We started then doing, my friends and I, every diet known to man. If they put a diet on the cover of Cosmopolitan, we did it. Every month it was a new one. I mean, every month it was a new one. Honey, oil, and vinegar before you ate. I can't even remember them all. The metabolic diet. There were books. There was the Stillman water diet. There were so many. We tried them all, and it worked. Again, it didn't hurt. We smoked cigarettes. We're doing drugs, and partying all the time. That didn't hurt. Like, fast forward, I got married in my mid-30s. Got pregnant right away. And during that pregnancy, I went from 117 pounds to 190 pounds and was tested for gestational diabetes along the way. I didn't eat any more than I normally did. My body just blew up, and I delivered a 9-pound, 8-ounce baby girl. And then I joined, Weight Watchers, because I found out when the baby came out, the weight didn't come out. I was a little shocked by that. Nobody told me that part. And I got, probably 190. I got probably down to about 138, 140 pounds, which was way more than I had ever weighed, but I took it. I was fine with it. Not fine with it, but I took it. And I struggled. And then, you eat the leftover baby food, you do things like that. And then I got pregnant the second time. And the second time I only gained 20 pounds. I stayed in Weight Watchers the whole time. All right. Well, fast forward again. So then I got the weight.
You were pregnant? You were on Weight Watchers?
Oh, yeah. Went to every.
They have a program for that, don't they? Like,
they have a program for that.
Oh, my God, I thought
doctor suggested I go because of the weight gain I had on the first one.
Yeah, and while you're breastfeeding, you can be on it too. I mean, it's hard on you. Remember.
No, they had an entire program for it, and you got to eat more. It was almost like the kid diet, actually. The one they had the kids on. It was very similar to that in the caloric values or whatever values they used at that time, because I don't remember. I've wiped it out of my mind. So yes, so I did that, had the second baby, weight got back to about 138, 140. Then I was managing to keep it off. I was working out, doing Denise Austin, working out with the kids, running around. Life was great. Husband left me for an 18-year-old girl, and all hell broke loose. Okay. And when I say all hell broke,
story. Never again are you allowed to say that to me. No, keep going.
Yeah. So
no story,
and my mother was in a nursing home. Okay. And I'm an only child. Okay. So so he left for the 18-year-old girl. I was making money on the side doing admin stuff for people secretly. So the lawyers didn't know I was making money and socking it away. And I learned about Quaker Oats granola bars. And I also learned that you can go back to your pregnancy high weight in less than 3.5 months. And I went from 138 pounds to 190 pounds in about 3 months and didn't even know it happened. Look at the cat's face. I didn't know what happened. I saw a picture of a fat woman sitting with my kids at brunch at the Hancock building. And I said, who is that in the picture? Okay, it was me. Well, from there, talk about going on every diet known to man. That's fen-phen, anything. And I could get a certain percentage of it off, and then I would hit that set weight. So it was a constant struggle. The divorce did help. got back down probably to about 140 during the divorce. But then as soon as it was done, it just went boom. And so in the past, my daughter's 35. So in the past, let's say 25, 30 years, it has been a constant struggle. The years prior to that were never a struggle. I just instinctually never eat. I probably was always obese. Now, if I look at a picture of my grandmother, of course I will. It ran in the family. My mother was a burlesque dancer. She struggled with it the whole second half of her life. All my aunts. One of my cousins used to say, I don't eat because when the women in our family, when they hit a certain age, they just blow up. So we thought that was just something that happened to older women. Okay, obesity runs in my family and my mother's side of the family. So I struggled with it all. I mean, I have keto, no sugars, no grains, the Suzanne Summers diet, the Thigh Master, I did the liquid protein diet with Oprah. I even bought my stuff at the same store she did at the GNC on Michigan Avenue. And that was before I knew I had a weight problem. I did that. Okay. That was like in the late 80s that I did that. So I did everything. And through it all, the doctors would always say, oh, maybe you could lose a few pounds. My blood work was fabulous. My heart was fabulous. Everything was fabulous. Fast forward again to 69 years old. And one day my Apple Watch said, hey, your heart rate is trending higher than normal. Want to turn on AFib notifications? And I'm like, oh yeah, I love technology. Let me do that. The watch went off continually. That was in 2022. In the spring of 2022. Yeah, about in the spring of May, at the end of May of 2022. And my poor little dog was very old at the time. And he was sort of half deaf, and the watch would vibrate. And he would just almost fall off the sofa every time it happened, which was every 10 minutes. Long story short, took me forever. We were at the end of the pandemic to get into a doctor. Took me from May till October to see a cardiologist, at which time I was walking around at a risk of stroke that was unbelievable, and I didn't even know it. They put me on a Holter monitor because I said to the doctor, well, the first doctor I went to was my PCP, and I said, what should I do about this? The watch keeps telling me I have AFib, and he goes, maybe turn off notifications. He's not my primary care physician anymore. He didn't even tell me to take an aspirin. He's done. And he said, you have an appointment with a cardiologist in a few months, just turn off the notifications. So I get into the cardiologist. She goes, my God, you look so healthy. Your blood work's coming back. Your cholesterol's a little higher on the Crestor, but it's nothing ridiculous. And I said, well, what should I do about these notifications? Oh, we'll order you a Holter monitor. 2 weeks later, she had to call me and tell me I was not only in AFib, I was in AFib 100% of the time. Not 10% of the time, not 20% of the time, not even 50, 100% of the time. Now, anybody who doesn't
what AFib stands for, Dee Dee, so we can understand.
I'm sorry, arterial fibrillation. And what that means is you have the atria, the two upper chambers of your heart, and then you have the ventricle, the two bottom chambers. And what happens is the two upper chambers get an electrical signal. You probably didn't even know you got electrical signals in your body, but you do. And they get electrical signals. And what happens is normally it's an electrical signal tells the heart to beat, boom, 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 boom. When it gets screwed up with AFib, it gets in there and the signal can't get out. And it goes boom, 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 and it bounces around in the upper chamber, which then causes the blood to pool and not get down to the two lower chambers. And so then they're struggling to do it. So you end up with shortness of breath, extreme fatigue. You could have a stroke from having clots in your heart, because the blood can pool. You can have chest pains. You have obviously a rapid heartbeat. Like there's been times mine's been up to 160. And when you are 69 years old, let me do this. You think you're leaning into old age. I'm short of breath. I can't walk uphill. I'm exhausted from that. So you just figure that's what it is.
Yeah.
You just figure that's what it is. So I see the cardiologist, then I had to wait another 3 months to see the electrophysiologist because there's a lot of heart doctors, just so you know. There's the general contractor is your cardiologist. Then the plumber is the person who cuts people open and does open heart surgery. And then there's the electrician. I see an electrician and a general contractor. Okay. So I ended up going to Singapore during this time for a month to visit my daughter. I traipsed in all over Thailand. I attempted to snorkel. You know how hard it is to snorkel when you're short of breath?
Yeah.
Okay, it's really hard.
Sure.
I went on a swing over the jungle. I'm lucky I didn't have a heart attack when I did that. Okay.
That sounds really fun, though.
It was so fun. And my ankles were swelling every night because nothing is circulating right in your body.
Sure. Yeah.
I get back, I see the electrophysiologist. We'll fast forward again. There's a lot of procedures you can do, from shocking your heart to medications to ablations, which is where they go up your groin and they do things. They burn a little piece of your heart to reroute the signal. I did the ablation over a year ago, April, and it worked for 88 days. There's a 90-day blinking window, and it worked for 88 of those days, and I felt so great. Now, bear in mind, I still was at a very high weight during all of this because no amount of cardiac diet or Mediterranean diet or any diet they put me in, because everyone was, you know, losing weight can really help with the AFib. And I'm like, well, if I could lose it, I would. Okay, I'm trying it. And I can't work out because I got AFib and it makes me tired and, you know, whatever. So we went back into AFib over that summer, but only at about 25 to 30%, which is a blessing. We did a second ablation almost exactly a year ago, November 6th. And it still didn't take. I was still operating at 12 to 15%, which the only way I can explain this is you're walking around and you feel perfectly normal. And the next thing you know, your heart is jumping out of your throat. It feels like your jugular is coming out here. You start to panic. You get anxiety. It's called AFib anxiety. And you can't focus. You can't do anything when it happens. And if it lasts more than a few hours, you start to develop all the other symptoms, the swelling, the shortness of breath, the fatigue. You know, if it's a short episode, you're in, you're out. But when you're in, you're out, you're also exhausted from your body going through that transition. So they did the second one. It also did not work. And I finally landed on a YouTube video about GLP-1 medications because I was like, there's got to be something to help me. And I'll back up to say, probably 6 months prior to that, I was this person. I can't believe my sister-in-law is taking Ozempic away from the diabetics. She's a nurse. She should know better. Okay, I was that person. I won't lie. I didn't know enough about it. I was ignorant. Anyway, so then I was like, all right, everybody seems to be having success with this. Let me look. And I found the Plus SideZ podcast. And I binge watched episodes 1, 5. I can't remember the exact episodes, but I watched everything from what they were to compounding. I remember that. And how to get them. And I went to see my primary care physician and I said, what do you think of this? And she said, you know what? I think that's a great idea. She said, because they know it helps heart health. She said, that is probably great for you, but here's the bad news. You're not going to be able to get it. You're on Medicare. You're not diabetic, and it's not approved for anything but diabetes. But I have patients who have success getting it from Canada. And she sent me the link. And you know this, Kim, because you saw me posting the pictures of the vials. And she sent me the link, and I ordered it, and I got it. And in the meantime, a very dear friend of mine said, I have some extra Ozempic because I don't need it anymore. Do you want it? And he said, till your meds come from Canada. And I said, okay. And I called the doctor and I explained what he gave me. And she said, this is what you'll do. And I went on it. And then the Mounjaro came in the little vials from Canada. I went on it. Now, I started on, it will be a year in December. I started on December 21st. On January 22nd, I had a meeting with the electrophysiologist. And in that visit, something changed in my heart. I felt it change. I felt it. It was 4 weeks to the day I had started this, and I felt change. And the only way I can ever explain it is, you know how little children, you have the round peg going in the square hole? Okay, it was sort of like my heart had been this round peg trying to fit in a square hole or an oval hole. And then one day the right bottom came and it just fit. I can't explain it any way other than that. And they were getting ready to put me on some serious heart drug that I did not want. And I said, you know what, let's just wait and see how things go. From that day until very recently, I have been operating at 2% AFib or less. Now, was it the ablation? Was it the GLP-1s? Were the GLP-1s the missing piece? Okay. Now, on September 5th, right when you and I were talking, the reason I didn't feel I had anything to contribute was because I went back into AFib. And it has been going like this all month. But all of a sudden, the other day, I felt it again. It was just like everything went. And I think I'm going back down. I just got off of a heart monitor. The heart monitor is probably going to come back at 30%, but I'm guessing I'm at 5 or less right now. I believe it's the GLP-1s. I've only dropped, and I don't mean to use the word only, I'm sorry. I don't lose like other people at all. It's maybe 25 pounds in a year. You know, it depends on what day they pick the weight from when I was in the hospital. Because did you know that hospital beds weigh you? Did you know that? Yeah, I was in the hospital and I'm looking at the big whiteboard and all of a sudden I go, how did they know what I weigh? I haven't been on a scale. Oh, there's a scale in the bed. Yeah, that's a thing too. Yeah, they're getting it everywhere. So, yeah.
Brilliant. You know,
the new tables at my cardiologist's office also weigh me, the one I sit on, because I kept looking around the room for the scale and there wasn't one. And in the interim of all of that, you know, being on Medicare and getting it covered, Kim and I talked, and she put me in touch with the wonderful Dr. Albert at Accomplish Health, who did get me cleared through Medicare on Part D for a cardiac indication for Wegovy, which was a real win, other than if you see the copays, they're $334 until you fall out of the donut hole, which I'm out now, which is great. So I switched from Mounjaro to the Wegovy, which is what I'm on now. And I do remember the day the food noise stopped. I didn't know I had food noise. I didn't know any of this was an issue until it wasn't one day. And that was within maybe 12 hours, 4 hours of taking the first shot. And it was, I went, oh my God. I didn't know what was going on in the kitchen. I didn't know why I was standing in there. I didn't know if I was like, why am I in the kitchen? What do I need in here? And, it just literally changed everything. And now I understand. I did struggle my whole life as thin as I was. I literally struggled my whole life and just didn't know I was struggling because of the time I grew up in and the way we dealt with it.
Yes.
It was just,
I think that's the same for my mom. Same thing.
Yeah. We just dealt, you just did what you thought you had to do. I mean, I remember eating TV dinners when I was 17 years old because they were little tiny portions, you know, things like that. But I realize now that, my God, I'm going to use Kim's words. I'm like a GLP-1 evangelist now because I think everything that ails you. Okay. Because it helped my hip, it helped the inflammation, it's the whole.
Oh, but Dee Dee, that was the 25 pounds you lost. Didn't you know? That's what fits your body. It was 25 pounds.
That's it.
You know?
And that is exactly what one doctor did say to me.
Of course.
one of the other doctors did say, wait, how did you get approved? How do I write a PA? How do I do this? The other thing I've learned on this, I always sort of went along with what doctors said. Turn off the notifications. Well, I didn't really do that, but I was like, okay, I won't worry about it. He's not worried. Why would I be worried? Be worried about everything. You have to advocate. And and for older people, this is really hard. Okay. You have to advocate every second of every day for anything you want or you want to get done. I mean, I spent the other day on the phone all day working on insurance because, Medicare plans, because you're going to go to the T anyway. So we'll segue right on over to that. The T is Wegovy is approved on Medicare for cardiac indications.
Yes.
Not on a single formulary. Okay.
Wow.
It's not on. There are 15 Part D plans available in my Chicagoland area. It is not on one of those 15. In fact, 5 of those 15 have no GLP-1 medications. Then there are 10 that do, and it might only be Ozempic, or it might only be Mounjaro.
Right.
And they all require a PA, every one of them.
Of course.
And there's quantity limits. And you have to make sure you have the right wording on the PA. Thank God I have a nice insurance who helped me out. And he found me one where it's written in such a way that it says diagnosis as the indication. And then it said use, all approved FDA indications. So now they have put back on Ozempic the cardiac indications because Wegovy was taken off of all the formularies.
That's some tea, D. Oh my gosh.
D, I've got something for you off of that too. I don't know if you know this or not. I did not know until I looked it up today. Apparently, through an invite of Bernie Sanders and it looked like 3 or 4 other senators, Biden did a press conference. Yesterday up in New Hampshire. And he focused on, the Inflation Reduction Act and how that, that helped to start to combat high prices for drugs. So I listened to it just to kind of, hear it and kind of see it. I'm always a little hesitant whenever I listen to politicians because I'm, the DC 2-step, they tend to, grandstand a lot, but I listen to it. And some of the wins that he talked about were actually things in regards to Medicare and about, the $35 cap for insulin. And then he started talking about them, negotiating prices for drugs now and how they did, 10 drugs this year, 15 next year, and then 20 a year until they do all of them. But I was listening to him talk about it. And it's like, well, none of the changes that you say that you're negotiating for are going to take effect until 2026.
Right.
So for a whole nother year, everybody's going to continue to pay, or the government, so therefore all of us, in a way, are going to continue to pay whatever the list price is right now. So, I don't know. It felt weird hearing that, but I did hear where they were talking about the cap for out-of-pocket costs.
2,000.
Yeah, 2,000 as of next year. It just out of curiosity, and of course, tell me to go do something if you want to. Off of the paperwork and stuff that you see as somebody on those programs, have they started to talk to you guys about it? Have they said any restrictions or anything that's going to get in the way? Kind of like what you were saying with, the drugs. Yeah, they can approve them and say, hey, you can get them. But if it's not on a formulary, what good does it do?
Right. No. My broker had a difficult time doing it. He ran a program and he found me a plan that had the most drugs on a formulary. The plan I found is, I'll tell you what it is. It's Cigna. And it has 5 GLP-1s on it. One I had never heard of that starts with a B. Yeah, I'll send you the name of it, Kim. And it had all 5. It had the 5. It had Trulicity, it had Mounjaro, it had Ozempic, it had something or other, and then I don't remember the 5th one. There was another one.
Like Byetta? Is that what
No, I thought it was like Butazone or something weird. I had never heard of it. Anyway, it had those on it. And that's why we went with that plan. To Bear's point, yes, there are going to be a lot of problems with this $2,000 cap. Okay. I mean, I had to spend $8,000 to, get to catastrophic this year. Now, that's a combination of what I spend and what the insurance company spends. And they hold my hand as a partner to $5,000. And then they push me off the cliff. And then I have to get to the 8 on my own. And now everything is 0, which is great for the last quarter of the year. Okay. Now, bear in mind, Wegovy is not the only drug I take. I take Zepbound, which is considered they changed it on my formulary from a generic drug to a generic specialty, pushing it from a tier 1 to a tier 4. I got an exception on it. Big deal. It was cheaper to order it from Kim's biggest hero, Mark Cuban, for $39.20. It was still going to be cheaper than my copay. So I just order it from him. Eliquis is a name brand. It is $686 for my blood thinner, people. Okay. And there's no generic. Okay. So how fast am I going to get to $2,000, Bear? And what they're doing is so that I don't have to go to the pharmacy. Oh, and they're going to boost the price of that Ozempic, that I might qualify for, probably to $1,500. Okay. So I'll only have to go once or twice to the pharmacy to hit the 2,000. So what they've also put in place is a payment plan that you sign up for when you do your, and Kim, you might want to let your mom know this if she's on a Part D plan. Yeah. Hi, Debbie. It's going to be $167 a month. So you just pay the one, if you know you're going to hit 2,000, which I know I am, you just pay $167 a month in addition to your premium, which my premium is going to be $16 a month. Go look at that. Instead of having a senior go to the pharmacy and shell out $1,500 or $686 or whatever it is for the particular drugs they're on. If you are not on expensive drugs like that, don't sign up for the payment plan because you're not going to hit 2,000. And I heard Bear that, and Eliquis is one of the drugs that was approved this year. It was one of the 10. So hopefully next year I'll see a price reduction in that one. But I did hear GLP-1s were going to be in the next round of those price reductions. But like you said, it's not going to be till 2026. And you don't even know how much it's going to be. If they're already upcharging the price to figure out this $2,000 thing. I mean, it's such and did you know, I did not know this. Did you know if you go to a preferred pharmacy that the insurance company or the PBM, I'm not sure which, makes an additional 22% on the price of your drug? I didn't know that. We need to.
No, I did not know that.
Yes. Yes, they make more money if you go to which is why you're seeing all the little family pharmacies disappear because they're not.
Yet we hear all the time, like the stuff that's going on with CVS and Walgreens is closing stores. What the fuck are you doing with the money? Like, I'm just saying, like, clearly it's hand over fist. Sorry, Mom. I mean, clearly, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? Like that you're having to close stores and get a new CEO and all this stuff. Like, how?
Yes. And and it would be because Caremark owns CVS. I mean, always follow the money. And I know Bear will be good at that. Always follow the money. Now, I don't know whether it's the PBM or the insurance company getting the 22% kickback from the pharmacy, which then makes me wonder, what is the pharmacy actually even making on any of this? If the PBMs, are they making anything? And maybe that's why they don't want to fill prescriptions when you go. And maybe that's why they're being hurt. Huh?
Some pharmacists that I've talked to I'm sorry, babe. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Didi, that guy that you sent me that has the pharmacy in Florida, I really want to get him on the show. And the messages and emails and stuff. We'll see. I may just like cold call.
He's the one who mentioned the 22% on the pharmacies.
Yeah,
I really get him on the show.
Yeah, I want to get him on the show.
From some of the stuff that I've heard from pharmacists from back when I worked in it, they claim and all of them, everybody within the pharmacy industry, at least that I spoke to, they all would talk about how little they made off of the drug because of how much they actually pay for it. Like, from somebody who looked at the back end, I would go in and I would see these mental costs, like $4,000 a pill. And according to the pharmacists, that I would talk to, they'd be like, well, yeah, we pay close to that for the drugs from the manufacturer. Right, yeah. Now, I have a hard time believing that, simply because they buy in such large quantities for some of these larger pharmacies. There's part of me that's like, how much? But I do put credence behind the fact that I don't think they make a lot of money off of them. And I think it's a combination of what they actually pay for the prescriptions that they're getting for the drugs from the manufacturers. And then I also think the other part of it is getting nickel and dimed like they do from the insurances. Like, even because like having been in some of the positions that I've been in, I know how you'll have these large corporations and they sell the stock to the small stores. So the small stores, like, if you look at the books, they theoretically don't make money because they're paying for something that they actually don't pay for. So, like, there's these ways that they do it. So I don't think they make a ton of money, but I think it's the structure.
Well, it was interesting when I was having a struggle getting the Wegovy filled. As soon as I went to $0, it was like, oh, it's too soon for you to fill. Oh, we don't have it. Oh, and I mentioned it to Dr. Albert, and he said, I don't think it's a problem with the insurance company. I think it's a problem with your pharmacy. And it didn't click in, but that's probably what he meant. And I noticed on the new formulary I was looking at, they also sent a list of participating drugstores, and Costco is not on it. And guess where I might be moving my prescriptions to? I don't have a Costco membership. I heard you don't need one for prescriptions. So I may just move it over there, because I don't
Costco.
Yeah, I don't want the PBM and the insurance company making even more money off of me filling it over here at my local Walgreens if the Walgreens isn't making their cut of what they need, because what's their incentive to fill my prescription if they're not making money? Absolutely. So it's been a huge learning curve on insurance. Most people don't know. I hate to say it, a lot of older people don't know how to navigate this system.
No.
I have a friend whose husband is a brilliant man, and he may end up going on a medication for something else that's so expensive my jaw dropped when I heard it. And I said, is he on Medicare, private? What kind of insurance? Because he might need to be looking at and he owns his own company. I'm like, he might need to be buying a different plan for his company. The fact that we have to learn how to read prior authorization criteria and then try to explain it to a doctor. Okay. I actually know about Cover My Meds, and I was trying to explain it to the PA at my electrophysiologist's office, because she was like, how did he get you approved for that? I'd like to be able to do it for more patients. And I said, well, you got to go in to Cover My Meds, and you got to make sure if you answer this question this way that you don't, screw yourself and answer then this. And she goes, how would you even know that? I said, a lot of TikToks, okay? A lot of YouTubes, a lot of TikToks. What can I tell you?
Yes.
But I've learned so much from this journey that I would not have known had I not gone on a GLP-1 medication. I wouldn't have known. I just would have been sitting there crying on the phone with insurance companies all day long about the other medications I'm on. And I don't know what's going to happen when 2025 comes. Let me be straight up honest. I don't know that I'm going to get a PA approved. Because here's what happens. I had a PA. Oh, wait, they discontinued my plan because they were losing money on it. Yeah. So I had a PA through April, thought I was good. And then I didn't see it coming that they discontinued the plan. So these are all the things that happen, not only to seniors, but to everybody. And with that said, for a long time, because I was paying out of pocket, and in Canada, I was paying probably half of what we pay here over the counter. I was probably paying $500 a month, something like that. I couldn't understand why people were upset paying $3.99 and $2.99 per compound. I didn't get it. I didn't know people were only paying $25 with a coupon.
Yeah.
I've always, as a senior, been paying through the nose.
Yeah. My mom does. Yeah. My dad has it for, is on Ozempic for diabetes, but, and then my mom takes it for off-label, all the things that we've talked about. And like Dr. Albert, like that's the thing is it's just like you said, like it's all going to be based on plan and your health. And they, a lot of them will he's a specialist, right? Like that's the thing. Like, and that's why when people come like on our lives and stuff, and they're like, where do I start? I almost always say, start with an obesity specialist if you can get in. If you can get in. Yeah, that's the key though. But if you can't get in, start with an endocrinologist. If you can't get in there, then it's like, okay, maybe you go to the PCP, or maybe you try a telehealth that specializes in this because they know, how to help, get things approved and stuff like that,
Right. And when I was talking to my girlfriend about her husband's, we talked about it, and I said, hopefully, because it's such a rare thing he has, I'm hoping the nurse at that specialty office knows the ins and outs of the insurance and how to write a PA. It's not just GLP-1s, it's everything.
Have you ever seen that movie, guys? This is something we have to because we like hope. But there's this movie, and I think it's Mark Wahlberg, and he is talking about like how you noodle when you go fishing, and you stick your arm in a big hole and you hope to catch something, right? Like you're hoping to catch something, like that's it. And he goes, hope is not a strategy. You know what I mean? Like you're sticking a hand in a big hole. That's the thing is, I do think that with my parents, especially, like they kind of sit there, well, I hope this. Well, you can't, like we have to get a strategy, right? Yeah, but like that's the thing is that they don't think that way. You know what I mean? Like they don't. And it's I don't blame them. Like it's I feel like insurance when we were growing up, it was just so much more cut and dry.
It was very cut and dry.
Yeah, it's just gotten more and more complicated, right?
Muddy.
Yeah.
All publicly traded, big publicly. I mean, all the PBMs are publicly traded. Everything they are beholden to their shareholders.
Yeah,
that's So everybody go buy stock in these companies. At least maybe you'll make it up on that end. Although I don't know that healthcare stocks are the way to go, but not giving stock advice. Okay.
I do think that buying stock in Eli Lilly is the way to go.
I think so.
Actually, I bought stock in Viking Therapeutics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dave was talking about that. Yeah.
I bought that a couple months ago. They had just come into some phase 3 trials on that no-name formula they have that has really good success rate. Nice. And they're hoping to get it released at the end of 2025, 2026.
Ooh.
So I had bought that quite a few months ago.
All right. If we ever get any money, it's not.
I didn't. It was sort of cheap when I bought it. It wasn't even that much.
The Carlos family does not participate in the stock market, madam.
You don't know what you're talking about. Yes, we do.
No, we don't. Yes, I don't participate in the stock market. I don't trust it.
I mean, if you have a 401k, you kind of.
If you have a 401k,
if you got a 401k, you participate. Yeah.
Right now, I do not have a 401k.
Yeah. Right now, he does not. He works for the Plus SideZ.
I do a total off. This is off subject. A total stock market. My little $5 every week.
Yeah.
Wow. But that's all you have.
Nice little chunk.
That's fine.
Total stock market. So that's the way I buy Eli Lilly is a little $5 ETF.
A little share.
Leave it there.
Yeah, it's growing.
I don't know. Anyway, okay, this is a good segue for tea. John led the tea with Dee Dee. which
Yep.
is great, which was that we, now there was that big health conference. I feel like that might
She
be.
served it right up, though. I mean, it was like that was the easiest layup ever. I love her. I actually got to sound like important and like I prepared for something almost.
Because you did.
Thanks to Dee Dee. No, because you wouldn't have made me feel that way, but Dee Dee did. See, Dee Dee's awesome.
God, let's not go there on the television.
Well, you know what? While you guys mull over that, I'm going to play a little bit of bean footage.
Oh, bean footage!
Bean footage!
Look at our sponsors.
Food has definitely been a very dominant voice in my head. That's not the main focus anymore. Dieting, exercising, and adding GLP-1s through Row is a game changer. I have such a sense of mental freedom since I started with Row. Food no longer controls my thoughts. Family time used to revolve around food, and now it revolves around what we're going to go do together.
I gotta say this commercial is awesome because first
it's so good.
And those cookies are delicious.
The food looks really good in that commercial.
Right, the
like,
end,
that commercial, which was the point.
and at the very end, suitcases.
Yeah,
Beach it's focused on the fun stuff. I like it.
I love it. I know. We like
as editing the podcast, I see that commercial so much.
Right.
It's a good one, though.
And it's always right around lunchtime too. So like I almost because
you're like, I'm hungry.
I almost associate Ro with lunch.
I love you, Ro. Thank you, Ro. We love you, Ro.
We do love Ro.
We're starting to
get Dee Dee is great fun.
It is great fun.
So true.
I might actually go to Chicago one day.
Just not for work.
Not for work. Just
have to go there
there's a possibility of seeing Dee Dee and the Field Museum.
Strong listenership in Chicago, I believe.
I love the Field Museum, and I'd be happy to take you there, Bear.
I will tell you, John and I have discussed, and we haven't told Kat yet. Hey, Kat. Possibly.
Yeah, you're going to learn about this now, Kat.
Where we pick a few cities that we're big in, and we go on.
Signal. Okay, could you repeat yourself?
Oh my God, you lost us right during that time.
We talked about looking next year into the cities that we kind of have the most viewership at, and possibly doing a tour there, going up there and having basically kind of a meet and greet and eat event, and then doing a live episode there where we can kind of get some interaction from the crowd and stuff.
Yeah, I love how you said meet and eat because I appreciate that.
Well, like I was thinking about the last event that we had.
Yeah,
and
I always have food. It's okay.
Yeah, and
it's okay to have food. It's all right. It's not demonized anymore, right?
I was just as opposed
to. I'm tickled because I know you, John, and it just tickles me. That's
just messing with you.
Oh God! And I'll tell y'all
what do you guys think? Vote for podcast tour because we have to get sponsors.
Yeah, and I need people to understand if we're in Chicago, at least one area will be the Chicago deep dish pizza.
Yes.
And I need zero judgment.
Listen,
okay, people?
It's worth the stomach ache, the deep dish pizza.
There is a little bit tough for me. I'm a New York pizza girl, but I will. Yeah.
Kat, the Chicago deep
dish. I've been to Chicago. It's okay.
I'm where you got your deep dish, Kat. Okay, you don't get deep dish anywhere.
It's there with a G.
Yeah. You probably got it at Giordano's.
And we went to top of the Hancock building, which was so fun.
You didn't
had a cocktail up there.
You didn't get it from Gino's East, or you didn't get it from Dewey's. Okay, you got it from Giordano's.
All right, so podcast tour, and that's who's catering. That's what I heard. So
all I know is
and have a cocktail. That's all you can afford up there. Go to the top of the building and have a drink, and then look at the Lake Michigan at night. The cityscape. It's really that was a great night.
Yeah, I went to a place where we did something like that.
Kat, that's where the picture was taken of me that I didn't know who the fat woman in the picture was. I was having brunch up there.
Oh, stop.
Okay. And I went, who is that woman at the table? That's exactly where I was, the top of the Hancock.
The Hancock building.
Okay, babe, we have to go to Chicago now.
I have
because
I like
it. I need the Chicago deep dish.
We need to go. We need to go to Chicago in the spring.
Yes.
Well, yeah, no.
Or taste. You can go during taste. It gets hot as babies, right? As a Midwesterner, we have brutal summers and brutal winters.
Yeah. Go in the spring.
Well, but it's not like it is in the South, though. Like the humidity in the Midwest is a little bit more tolerant, and like to me it was because I remember the difference. So, like I prefer the humidity in Missouri.
Yeah, the humidity will be there, but it stops in August.
Here's the thing: it's still humid. And after we have our deep dish pizza, we can either walk along the lakefront to get rid of it or along the river walk. Okay.
This is very diet culture, though. Let's go eat all the fat pizza.
Well, you know what? Actually, it's beneficial for your digestive system to actually take.
Yes.
I have an idea to fix this. This is what we'll do.
TikTok fart walks.
This is what we'll do. We'll go have lunch.
God, you watch funny stuff.
For the deep.
I love ignorance.
We'll go to the Field Museum.
Okay.
That way, we're walking and we're losing it, but we're learning at the same time.
Sure.
Okay. And I even know how to walk from Gino's East to the Field Museum, and it's about a 3-mile walk, but I know how to get there.
Well, you know what? We should. You could be our tour guide.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's tour Chicago. Chicago, Dallas. We got.
And we have a party room here, and we could do the podcast here and put a guest list at the front desk for all the people who want to come to the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fun, right?
Oh wow,
we're gonna have a girlfriend sleepover at Dee Dee's. I'm kidding.
We got to get sponsors, y'all. It's an expensive city.
Look at you. Very expensive city.
Well, it can't be a girlfriend sleepover. One, I'm coming along, and last I checked, I'm not a. I'm a guy.
I understand.
So
I love it. Like I'm coming.
Yeah.
Sure. No, I get it. They're
all right. Wait, okay, we're gonna get back. Let's go to the tea. Kat, will you play the tea thing?
You ready?
Pretty sure. Also, before we start the tea, could everybody like the live? Because
yes.
30 people here, but there's one like.
Likes, friends. Hold on, let me.
You must like it. You're still here. Like the live, would you?
I liked it.
Okay, thanks. All right. Also,
really like us.
Let's talk about some stuff. So, Kat, I was thinking it might be good lead-in wise if you talk about the healthcare conference.
Okay, so I have to shout out Way to the Buddha. She is coming to us live from the health conference in Vegas. Yeah, the technology in health. So a lot of telehealth. She did mention that Noom and Weight Watchers have a big presence there. Noom, I believe, is one of the sponsors. Mm-hmm. But the conversation around many of the seminars is GLP-1 and GLP-1 access. So the world is, in summary, because it's a very quick one, Buddha said she'll come back with some more coverage probably through as the week progresses, but it's the world is coming around. That's where we're getting all the tea. But telehealth definitely was a big topic.
Yeah, I saw one of her videos where she was talking about how I'm pretty sure she was hinting at Google is trying to work from the corporate angle.
Yeah,
fascinating.
Yeah, it's definitely very much. Yeah, the corporate angle is. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's just worthy of note. It's kind of funny to me that Busta Rhymes performed last night. That's interesting.
Someone tell Mary how to hit the button. Really? No.
Busta Rhymes performed?
Busta Rhymes was there last night. John Legend was one of their keynotes. Dr. Jill Biden and Lenny Kravitz, I think is. Yeah, this is not a cheap conference.
I would have gone to that conference for Lenny Kravitz.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, damn.
I'd have went for Busta Rhymes.
Well, I was thinking for the podcast, we should probably go to those things. It was it's something.
I didn't know it exists.
I need to start penciling that in
because he's very ignorant. I did not know it because this is.
We should probably
a cheap conference, but this is definitely technology focused. But
yeah, no, we
how does
need
Mary
to
like the live? Someone tell me.
We got 12 people like the live right now.
I think she has to close the chat if she's on her iPhone.
Okay.
And then the little thumbs up and thumbs down shows up, but you got to close your chat.
You got to close the chat, friends.
Yeah. That's my friend Mary. She's not in the GLP-1.
Hey, Mary. I hope you got to see her whole thing. It was so good. That was such a good story.
Thank you.
Yeah, you said you didn't have an interesting story, ma'am.
Yeah, that was a really good story. Kim told riveting. Kim said, "Oh, her story." She says her story is very bland, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And no, there was nothing bland about that.
You did concert and music promotion.
I did, and I know you were in radio.
That was my life.
Yes, and yes, I met Prince.
See,
I've only been to Paisley Park.
He was so tiny,
miniature,
like a jockey, like a jockey.
Yes.
He was tiny, like a jockey. Yeah,
I saw him from the side at Paisley Park. I've been to Paisley Park many times before he passed. I promise you, from the side, this was how thick he was.
Yeah, like tiny.
And his wife was Man Whaley at the time, even smaller.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were like
a tiny man, but very nice.
Of paper.
Yeah.
So miniature.
And so sweet. Such a nice man. So nice.
Yeah. I've only met one famous person. I used to work at a hotel in my hometown, and BB King was coming through.
Oh, that was very worth it.
Yeah. I was the night auditor, and I got to meet BB King. It was freaking awesome. I loved it.
Okay. All right, T.
And all it cost me was a refrigerator.
Tea is so interesting.
So the latest tea, and I just saw Dr. Albert posted about it too, right? Is that Novo is, I don't know if it's filing with the FDA. I don't think it's suing the FDA. I think it's filing or something like that with the FDA. And I need to check. Of course,
petitioning. Aren't they petitioning the FDA?
That sounds right. To have them basically say that a compound semaglutide is likely not safe. And they cited all of these different reasons for people getting sick, some people passing, and then kind of like all the impurities and things that they have found and ones that they had tested. Now, obviously, like I'm not an expert, I'm paraphrasing, right? But I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Well, hold on a second before we think about that. Which Bruce is this? Bruce Springsteen? You danced with Bruce Springsteen?
Okay.
Before Courtney Cox.
I was going to say, okay, Courtney Cox.
Before Courtney Cox.
Okay, so when this is over, D, you can't go anywhere.
John, you're blurry. Can you
just go back to the semaglutide and the FDA? That's important stuff.
Yeah,
I think other thing is not important stuff.
That's offline chat, all right.
Right. It's fine. But it keeps people engaged. They want to listen to it. They want to hear Dee's stories.
Okay, so.
But this just sounds like Novo's just trying to get in, doing what Lilly is doing. But then the pharmaceutical, oh gosh, what is the acronym of it? I just saw it on Dave's TikTok today for compound pharmacies. It's like the pharmaceutical. Yeah, there's so many names to swirl around my head. But anyway,
I know what you're talking about, Kat, and it's on the tip of my tongue, and I bet you all remember.
They are the ones that went to the FDA, and the FDA said, "Okay, wait a minute, let's give it until 11/21." And so, I have a feeling it's going to just fall in the same place as with Novo.
I don't know. I mean, well, one thing that Dave was saying in his reporting of it. So, Dave, I get a lot of my news from Dave. Dave is really good at taking complex things.
The man Mounjaro. That's why we have him. We introduce him on the show every.
He's fantastic, right? And one thing that he was saying is that it would still take there's a lot of due diligence and a lot of things it has to go through in terms of process for them to say that this is like a thing, and it could take years, So in the meantime, I don't know how many more people are getting sick from it. I feel like ultimately at the end. I'm sorry, Mom, at the end of the fucking day, if they just made it affordable, people would be able to do this and they wouldn't have to resort to these measures. They wouldn't have to go to peptide companies. They wouldn't have to go buying things from other countries, going to Mexico and loading up. Listen to your people. If they are that fucking desperate, they're that fucking sick. How are people not getting this? It blows my mind. The only time I ever felt like things might actually change is when we went to DC and I could hear the senators talking about not obesity being a disease, not necessarily recognizing it in that way. They did, but it was the ripple. they felt everybody understands the ripple of it, right? It's the heart, D, right? Like it's all the things that we talk about and the pain that it is in our economy. It's going to bankrupt our fucking country. We all need to get on board at this point. It's absolutely insane. We're putting our money in the wrong places. You know, sorry, Mom.
It's all right.
I'm praying.
I'm going to figure out a word for you to say, Kim, but it can't be balls. Dr. Joanna. I'll figure out.
Yeah.
But I agree with what you said though, Kat, that it's them trying to, it's Novo trying to do this like similar to Eli. I mean Eli trying to do similar to I'm sorry.
I knew, you were on the right track first. No, Eli.
But yeah, I agree. It's them trying to do the same thing. I think the only thing that kind of works against our community in regards to that is something that we, as a community, don't really have any control over, though. But it's going to be the people who are doing this stuff completely wrong. Rather, they're getting, the compound, the legit compound, or they're getting something that, isn't suitable for human consumption. Yeah. They're doing this stuff wrong, or they're not paying attention to what they're being told.
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Albert, I don't care. Like, you may not like his program. Like, listen, but like, he's brilliant. Like, bottom line, he is brilliant. And he said in his thing, he was like, you have to consider the fact, he was in his video that he made, he was like, they're saying that it's possible that it could compromise your system to where GLP-1s won't be effective for you at all. Like, that's the thing is like, there's all these unknowns, and like people deserve to understand that. And let me be real clear. I have reached a level of health I'm not willing to give up. I'm not willing to give it up.
100%.
I will do whatever it takes. I will make the smartest decisions I possibly can. But that's what happens when you are sick. You get desperate. That's what it is. And then you make uninformed decisions, or you make stupid decisions because you're willing to, because the result of you not treating your disease is living in misery and suffering. And nobody wants to suffer. And that's why they do it. So I would never judge a soul for going to a peptide company. I would never. But I also think that you deserve to know. And as long as you know, and you're making that decision with knowledge, then I'm okay with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't love it. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for any of us. But that's where I'm at, like, and I didn't used to think that way, but the more I've learned and the healthier that I've gotten and the richer my life, not with money, right, but with life that my life has gotten, I'm just not willing to give it up. I'm not.
It's the quality of your life. For me, I feel 20 years younger. Okay. It's the quality of my life, and I'm not willing to give that up. I want to feel good every day and maybe live another 20 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, no, definitely.
That's that risk of, maybe GLP-1s won't work for me in the future if I take this one that's not good. It doesn't matter. That's what none of these people that don't understand. They don't get it. It doesn't matter because we are all literally dying. Like that's the thing. Like that. I know that ultimately we don't know. None of us know.
That's how I wonder, because you know how it always takes extremes.
Yes.
I wonder if it's going to be somebody that just becomes beloved in the country, that we all find out this person's story and they take the wrong experimental drug trying to stay healthy. And
don't
that's
put that out there.
What
don't
it takes.
I
don't. But that's how I feel. You know what I mean? Like it always takes that. It always takes.
You know,
it takes that one person, and
can
we not get to that point?
Like, I feel like a lot of things changed, like with mental health when Robin Williams was gone, right? Like, I feel like that kind of thing, people will go, oh my God, like, oh my God, like we've got to do something. Oh my God, we've got to remove the stigma. Like, I get it, Kat. It's gonna to shift society. It's gonna take something like that, or the plus sides.
Or maybe you don't have somebody who's close to. I mean, I think what Dave reported, I think someone did pass away. They took the wrong. It was insulin instead of.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
But
that was like bootleg. That was somebody.
It was total bootleg. I think it was like It was not in the States. And then there was that other woman who was, now she was doing compound, but she was doing Trizepatide and Semaglutide simultaneously, and it did take her life.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I just feel like there's somebody out. No, you're right. I don't want to claim it.
Somebody that's like beloved. Like if we think about the way we are in America, those people have money. They're not taking peptides for $100.
Don't you talk about Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates, we'd love you to come on our show, please. Thank you.
Anyway,
I will not interrupt you.
That was a great TMZ thing she tried to do.
She tried to
She tried, and that was great. And it was great. You stitched it. She really tried. And you know what? Maybe reach out to her again. Try reaching out to her, because I think she wants to talk about it.
I think she does
too.
She
used the words leptin and ghrelin.
And she said ghrelin. That's right. I was like,
leptin and ghrelin.
She knows. She took the time to understand why. Like that's the thing. And I wish she knew about her podcast. Kathy,
we'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah, we will. It's gonna happen.
Thank you, Rosie, for coming on early. And now we got
listen, season 4, we do have a doozy. I'm not gonna lie, it's very controversial. You'll find out next month, but it's not Rosie.
It's exciting though. I had a great time.
Very exciting, and I am very excited.
Next month.
I'm excited. I'm waiting for it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, that thing that we talked about that you know about, it's in November. It got rescheduled for November.
Yeah. I'm excited as well for that one.
I have a big ass mouth. We all know it. Let's just reel it back in because I'll just tell you.
Then we have something else too that I was excited to, but that was when Kim and I.
Yeah,
it was this week. Anyway,
all right, more tea.
Anyway, okay, so cool things. Teas, I know.
We got a lot of tea.
Yeah, we got more.
She's like that. She is a tease. It's bad.
Tease and a big mouth. I'm sorry. Like it's like I don't want to apologize. It's just who I am. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so then we also heard that Lilly. So in terms of them filing all these lawsuits, so the lawsuits that they filed this past week were against 3 different ones. So they're compounders with their peptide companies, med spas, not 503 or 503 pharmacies. They're like online suppliers. And so interesting. I haven't heard anything about them suing or going after the 503A or Bs at this point. And I was wondering what you guys thought about this, because what Dave has told us, and obviously I listen to a lot of Dave stuff, but what Dave was telling us is that right now, they have kind of a stay. I'm calling it a stay of execution. Like it's November 21st, right? It's sort of like, well, we may come back. There may be no need for this, blah, 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 blah. We're going to investigate further.
Right in time for Thanksgiving.
Right in time for Thanksgiving.
The irony is not lost on me with that one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And so that was, they're supposed to come back then, right? But I'm curious what you guys think, because technically, even though the FDA is making a statement saying we're not planning on going after any of you guys right now, right? Where they've made a statement. That's what Dave was showing us, right? Ultimately, though, I do believe Eli Lilly can still try to defend their patent with their attorneys separately outside of the FDA if they want to waste their time or spend their time doing something like that. I think. Do you guys?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think it's possible.
You're accurate. Like the FDA,
it's probable, but I do think it's possible.
Yeah, no. The thing. So the FDA regulates it, but if you're breaking a patent, my understanding is from everything that I've ever read or heard about it, is you can be sued by the individual, just like let's say that somebody was assaulted, right? In any kind of way, they may not press charges, but the state can press charges. And in the same token, the state may not press charges, but you can press charges. From my understanding, I don't know how right I am. I don't know.
No, that's what I was thinking in my brain.
But that's my understanding.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, I feel like but again, it's like, is that the right place to spend the time, the money, etc.? Like in terms of winning, and but at the same time, it's like they have literally they're a $1 trillion company.
Yeah, they can do whatever.
But they can. It's not that much. Kirkland and Ellis may be expensive, but it's just not that much money. It's like fishing in the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's more about the optics for them than it is going to be
like, you better get mine
else.
Serious, and we're doing it.
Well, no, I think it's going to be more of, do we want to look bad to the community and to the people that we're attempting to help?
Yeah.
And to what extent they're okay with it. Like, it's one thing.
I'm sure they care.
I
You're right, but I think about
feel. So I think that's different, but I don't know.
I mean, I could be completely wrong, but that's my opinion. Is I think they're going to be very leery of doing it simply because of the optics.
Yeah. Let's be honest, Kim. You said it at one point that the only way forward is for them to do Lilly Direct and release all the doses. They do not have to do it in vials. They could release those doses in pens, and they could make it competitive competitive pricing. They don't have to put it at $7.99 for 15. They could make top price $4.99 all doses of Trizepatide.
If they did that, then
and still making
they did that and not take insurance, they would kill the
They would kill it. They would kill the compounds.
Yeah,
I mean, they would kill it. That's all they would have.
That's all it would take. That's all it would take.
It would take all doses.
Brand
Direct,
the same price as compound. No, they're getting it from the manufacturer. It's all it would take. It'd be done.
And they could even bump it. If compound Trizepatide at 15 is $379, let's say, or $429, they could price it at $499. All doses. Okay, call it a day. No insurance. It would end the whole thing right there.
And it was brilliant what they did, right? They were like, oh, PBMs messing around. We're just going to go right around you. And it's because of the pharmacy and because they were able to contract with telehealth. And I'm telling you guys, they're leaps and bounds ahead of where we think they are when we say they're absolutely brilliant.
But they don't have to do it in the vials and worry about people drawing down only 7.5 and trying to stretch it out and all that sort of nonsense. They can just release the pens.
Yeah.
They don't have to do it that way.
Yeah.
It's just like we talked about after lunch when I was telling you, if you can guarantee that to people, that's going to be the money. That's going to be the game changer.
Yeah.
Right now, like if
I don't
Eli Lilly or Novo Nordisk
that's being done before
came out and they said, hey, you buy directly from us.
Mm-hmm.
This is the set price, the pens, they'll make their money. It's like I said during
something to consider is in terms of demand that exists currently. So we recently talked with a doctor coming out next week. And God, I've got the biggest mouth, you guys.
Don't give it up. Don't you dare.
I'm not. Okay,
it's awesome, but don't you dare.
Yeah, I'm not. I got it back. Okay. Kat, what was the next part?
We talked about a professional. You know what? Just hold on. Hold on to your butt cheeks and we'll release that episode and you'll see all about it.
Butt cheeks next week. We talk about it a lot. I promise. I'm not letting it go. You guys know. I know it gets annoying. Like, here's the thing. I know that I'm a loudmouth and I know that it gets annoying, but I swear it's just because I'm trying to write a hit song, right? I know if we beat this drum together, right? I know if we do it loud enough and long enough, we're going to write the hit song and everybody's going to sing with us, right?
That's why we need to get that song that my sister wrote.
I have to be willing to be the annoying person that's doing it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm doing.
And Lilly could team up, and so could Novo if they wanted to, with Mark Cuban and let him do the distribution on it.
Mark Cuban.
He doesn't want to negotiate. He doesn't want to negotiate drugs with manufacturers because they don't negotiate, but they could cut a distribution deal.
Yeah. Right.
Because he is also building an injectable plant. You know that, right?
No. Oh, Mark, get on the show now. I know you're very busy.
Yeah, he's building an injectable plant, supposedly.
Yeah, that is his
pediatric cancer drugs. Which, if you're building an injectable plant for, it can probably be retooled for whatever you need. But they could easily, if distribution through Lilly Direct would be a problem with the demand, they could easily team up with Cost Plus Drugs.
Yeah.
For distribution. because he's got the machine in place. It's done.
Yeah.
I get my medication in less than 24 hours from him.
Like my dad's alive because Cost Plus exists. Like, let's be clear.
My
Like,
Trizepatide I get from them. Yeah.
I mean, like that's the thing. Like, and like, I mean, because ultimately,
Excuse me.
we would not be able to afford his cancer medicine. It was like $10,000 a month. It was something insane. And then he got a grant for a little while, but he made when retired, made just a little bit too much money, couldn't get the grant anymore. So now what are you gonna do? Thank God. And he had to switch to something totally different, right? But it's keeping the cancer at bay so that he can live, you know? I mean, it's like it's just I just really want him to come on the show. Maybe after the election. Mark,
After the election.
if you're watching.
It's very busy season right
He's
now.
he's very busy right now. So
He's always busy, which is what I said. And I said,
I
I know that you're very busy. But
Now you did get an email from him though, didn't you?
yes.
Okay.
So
That's step one.
step one.
Baby steps.
I
Baby
got
steps.
a response. He read it. And I didn't get a no. I just said, I'm really busy right now. And I was like, okay. So let's just wait. We'll wait it out. Okay. Let's just all keep tagging him though.
Maybe you need to do a road trip to a Mavericks
Whatever.
game. Okay, maybe do a road trip to a Mavericks game.
Plus SideZ goes to the Mavs game. Woo!
Whenever
that's-
anybody says Mavericks, I always think of Tina Fey doing her Sarah
That's-
Palin Maverick.
That's actually not a bad idea, D, because
Maverick.
we could do that with our shirts on, make
Of course.
GLP-1s affordable. And if
Exactly.
we paid just a little bit extra, which
Like,
would be
hey, Mark!
painful,
Gosh.
We'll
and
make
we
some
set
calls. We'll
towards-
get some courtside seats. Okay.
I'm
We'll
just-
make
Yeah.
some
Till the
phone calls.
election.
Poster boards. Hey,
I've been
Mark.
sending him text messages, pictures, emails.
Hold on, D,
Like-
did you say you could make some calls?
Now I'm gonna get it done.
We can always try to make some calls.
We can try.
Absolutely.
Babe,
Very
There's
That's
always
a-
somebody who knows somebody somewhere. Kat
That's
probably
a-
knows people who know people. She worked in radio. You know how this works with courtside seats.
Yeah.
Kat.
yeah.
Guys,
I
we
mean,
want Mark to come on and talk about PBMs and the problem. Like, I'm not even asking Mark to get into obesity. I just
No.
want to talk about
PBMs.
core root problem.
Yes.
PBMs, the
Which
cost.
he,
Yeah,
which
I
he,
think that would be a
think-
fascinating
Positive
conversation
feedback.
with just talk to him about how it all.
and he's testified before those committees, those Senate committees,
Yeah.
and talked about the PBMs are the problem.
Yes.
Mhm.
We also really want to get on Senator Cassidy. But I don't know if senators go on podcasts, but I'm going to try.
Why wouldn't they go on a podcast?
I don't know.
Bernie Sanders is on a
All
podcast.
publicity is good publicity. It's
should
free,
probably
it's
use-
free publicity for them.
Bernie and Senator Cassidy would be.
I think we could use a connect of somebody that we talked to this week.
I would really think. I was thinking that person that we talked to this week that you'll find out about next week would also possibly help us with that.
Would you quit dropping those Easter eggs?
We got so much good stuff, you
Wow.
guys. Seriously. Oh,
It's
right.
been a
Like
very
you're
good
doing the whole Taylor Swift thing here.
it is.
Dropping
Well,
Easter
no, I do
eggs
that.
everywhere.
People watch my long ass videos because they know I'm going to drop Easter eggs. Where do you think I learned that? T Swift. I love it.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Marvel movies.
So the
Anyway.
podcast. So when all podcasts, when you want to go for awards, every award you have like an entry fee you pay to be able to be considered.
Oh,
Most
that's
of the time-
right.
Most of the time, we don't win. Most of the time, we don't even get in the finals. But recently, we've got in the finals for the People's Choice, and we didn't win, but we did get in the top 10. Or in the top 10. We got in the top 10, and now we're in the finals for Anthem in 2 categories.
Yep.
Okay. The Anthem Awards are for social impact. So it's a lot based on people that are doing these grassroots kind of things like we're doing. It's not like podcast specific. So it's a really, really big deal. And the more that we get things like this, like awards like this, just show that the work that we're doing is valuable and, credible. This helps us, guys. This helps us get loud. These are all steps to getting loud. And from day one, that's what I've told you I was going to do. And I'm not going to stop. So, but here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now, I can run my big mouth out up here all day long. But if you don't comment, if you don't share, if you don't like, and if you don't engage, I'm not doing shit. You are the movement. You move this. period. Like that's how it works. If we want to have a movement, you got to move it. But that doesn't mean you have to go tell people you're taking the medicine. Doesn't mean you have to do anything. Like, share, comment, save, whatever. That's it. Engage. That's the movement. So I need you to help move. Okay. That means do all the things to this video. Go and do a review on Apple for us, or on Spotify, or anywhere there's an audio podcast, especially on Apple, because we're kind of big there right now. Go over there and do that to help people know, because then we're going to start getting raised up so that more people that are sick, that think that it's their fault, that think that they are alone, will find us, and they will hear from the doctors and from our community. And no, that's not the case. That is one of the biggest parts of changing this, is getting the more of the voices. But people got to know who we are, and I'm not rich. I can't afford to advertise all over the place all the time. So this is how we do that. It's organic, it's grassroots, and we need you to move it. Okay.
I'm over here liking.
Also, I'm going to put in here, okay, the links to go and vote for the community voice, or like basically going and showing support for the 2 categories that we're in. That's it's just showing that so we're already in those categories. We're finalists in those categories. And our Rosie episode is in one of those categories. Okay. So it's best, it was best influencer collaboration. So wouldn't that be great? Can you imagine? This is huge. Okay. So we want to be able to get that. That's a big deal. It helps us get other guests. So, I mean, at this point, since we were on ABC Nightline, ABC Nightline, since we were on ABC Nightline, I have doctors and people coming to me to be on the show. That's what we want. Okay. We want those big gets, because that's how you get loud. Our country, two ways, money and getting loud. That's it. And a lot of times you have to have both. We don't have both. So help us with the getting loud part, okay? if we had both, we'd all have our medicine and we'd be fine. We'd all be thin and healthy and all the things, So
people, we have 31 people in the live right now, okay? And we have 16 likes.
So you have to.
I will make a deal with everybody here.
Oh God, not deals.
Yep, deal.
Not deals.
If there is 31 likes on this live in the next 10 minutes, I will tell you guys who they just did an episode with.
No, you little chicken. Don't do that.
I will give you guys the name.
How about just a hint? Just a hint.
A hint? Okay, we'll give you guys a hint. Huh? No. I want to see 31 likes on this live. And if I get 31 likes,
You're such a renegade. Renegade. Sorry. That was just was on yesterday, the Jay-Z.
And keep in mind, people, I'm the one that can create a short little 30-second short and drop it out there for you guys too.
All right. Listen.
I'm just saying, all you have to do is appease the bear.
Oh,
and there's no telling what the bear might do.
It would be cool if
I figured you would just show everybody Dixie and we could all virtually.
Yeah, I like it twice. I don't think so. I don't know.
I see Dixie is laid past the beep out right behind you.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Head. Yeah, she
came down with me, Kat, jumped up there and just passed out.
Spoonie says Bear has the power.
Bear does have the power.
Encourage him. Oh, I have to fire him every week. It's a problem.
Renegade.
Bear does have the powers.
Okay. Last one for us to end on in terms of tea. I do want everybody to know too. I got to tell you this about, because I want you to understand what we're doing matters. The podcast was interviewed to be in like a state of obesity care report as like a authority in the space. That's what we're doing. Okay. That's what you're doing with us. We're becoming part of history and like best practice, guys. Like this.
Yeah.
And it's because of you. It's because of you. So again, Kat and I go up here and be like, blah, blah, obesity meds. No.
It's okay. Blah, blah, obesity. I'm just kidding.
Blah, blah, obesity.
Yeah,
I'm a cottage cheese.
And Kat and I would do that.
we're here and, we're creating the podcast. We're posting it. Yeah. But without listeners, without viewers, without all that stuff, nothing we do makes any difference.
One more tea. We are going to start a newsletter, and I'm going to have you sign up for it. And if you sign up for it and you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, not as a paid member, just subscribed, as long as you have that, you're going to enter to win. I bought all the Barbie Stanleys for a promo.
Dang it, Kim.
I see that, Sandra. We just need
I already started
9 more.
Nine
So
more.
that's what we're gonna do. Look at all this tea you guys are getting.
I also have some butt stuff equipment.
Oh, we didn't do your butt stuff today.
I don't have anything because my phone died.
Oh,
Remember?
right.
I lost
What is going on with my camera?
And I teed that up for you as well with Mounjaro, but Chicago is flat.
But you know what? I'm working on. I've been working today.
My kind of town, Chicago is. That's the song, right?
Yes.
My kind of town, Chicago is, right?
It's called My Kind of Town.
Town that won't let you down. Yeah, I like that one. All right, maybe Chicago and Dallas. We'll stop by the Mavs.
Maverick. Thanks, Tina Fey.
Maverick.
Go Mavs.
Maverick. You gotta say it like Tina Fey did.
Oh, babe, Sandra wants a Stanley
flag. Oh,
and Spoonie wants some swag.
All right. Well, we don't have a plus size Stanley. We do have plus size Fanleys. You know, I do have a couple.
Everybody wants the GLP-1.
You know, babe, you should reach out to Stanley about that.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure Stanley cares about the little obesity podcast.
Well, no, you could just find somebody who does those thingies.
Hey, Mark, you've got connections. Can you hook us up with Stanley?
I'll wear it loud and proud everywhere I go.
Oh,
okay,
I will tell you when we wore the Make GLP-1s affordable shirts, we walked all around DC. We went to the museum and stuff because we're a go-do family now. And so we were walking around and everything. And people were like, what are GLP-1s? And so I'm just wanted to be like Ozempic. And John's like, well, GLP-1s, it's actually a mimicking hormone in your body. And it starts like going into it. And they're like, oh.
Their eyes glaze over.
No, they actually paid attention, like they were invested.
Like I feel like
we hear about it all the time now.
We all just go wear our shirts around DC and just talk about it. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like we showed up with no plan and a shirt. And I've got to give Bear credit. It was his idea.
Yeah.
Bear had a plan. The plan was simple. The plan was to show up and wear the shirt.
Yeah. Well, that was it. But I remember being like, he was like, I don't know. He's like, I just feel like we need to be there.
Yeah, and go to your uncle's farm and have a do family that does.
Yep. People were 21 likes.
21 likes.
We're 21. Come on, guys. 10 more, and you guys get to hear some.
Oh, we get to keep our secret then.
So I don't know.
Come on.
Our secret. Like me,
come on, people.
I get to keep my secret.
All right, let's wait what everybody likes, and let's talk about the news around childhood obesity now.
Oh, and what is it? Did we touch on Weight Watchers doing compound?
No. Oh yeah, last week or last 2 weeks ago. Yeah, you kidding me? Of course, please.
You know what? No, I didn't. Oh, there's another piece.
You've got a little tea with that.
That's what it is.
We're family here.
Okay, Weight Watchers is partnered with Freestyle Libre, a glucose monitoring system. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
that just seems very convenient.
Well, babe, we did leave out 2 things from the UK.
What did we leave out? Oh, that's right, John. Oh, that was big tea. You tell it. You're in charge.
Okay. All right. So the first big tea from
the UK.
From the UK is we heard recently, Kim did, and she told me about it. I can't remember where she said she heard it. Is the Prime Minister over there is going to work with the National Health Services and Eli Lilly to run a study on individuals who live in the UK who have become disabled and unable to work due to the obesity. They're going to give them the medication for free. I mean, which if they got it through National Health Services, it would be free anyway. But they're going to give it to them for free to see if it helps them get back to work. Now, like I told Kim when she told me about this on the drive, I was like, well, I can save them the study. Yeah. Like, it's going to be like a 3-year study. I can save them the study.
I'll save them the study.
It's going to do something. But, you know, if they want to hold the study, I think that's awesome.
Me too. But when did we allow, I'm sorry for all of my foreign friends, please. I'm sorry. When, and I'm just saying because America is just so, you know, we all know we're here. Okay. Like, we're always like first in space and shit, right? And they'll do whatever it takes to be first in all the things. We're getting eclipsed in terms of obesity care in other countries. Mm-hmm. Wake up, politicians. If you save more lives now, we're going to have more children and more voters to keep you in office. It's just math. Like, hello. Fix it. Fix it now. All right, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm not really sorry, but I'm a little sorry. Okay, go. Well, this was John. What was the other tea from the UK?
And then the other tea from the UK, which I thought was cool. I heard about it last week. It's not that big of a deal. Like it's not huge thing. But the Prime Minister did talk about the drugs and how important they are for saving lives and for preventing the disease of obesity. It was like I heard it was like 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. During just one of those
getting eclipsed on preventative care by another country.
The people are in your face taking pictures of you as you're like leaving a thing. Yeah. But it was really cool. I saw it last week.
I think that's really interesting too, because like when we did, if you guys haven't seen our episode, part 1 and part 2 were posted for this the ones that we just did.
Yeah, part 2.
That one is about, so we had Charlie from our community come on with Cloud Pharmacy, which are a pharmacy that it's not a compound pharmacy, it's a pharmacy. It's in the UK, and it works outside of NHS because they're not using insurance. People are paying about $150 US for Mounjaro, the single pen, for a month. And so we asked him, well, do you negotiate with Eli Lilly? And they go, there's no negotiating. And we're like, what? Like,
the price is
the price. He's like, the price is the price.
Don't give it away too much.
Well, they need to go watch the whole episode, John. It's called a teaser. This is what content creators do. They run their mouth, they pull out the things, and they say, go watch the thing. That's how it works. This is why you do editing and I run my mouth.
I run my mouth doing, I don't know.
So that's what I think is fascinating. And then they can see the other end part of that. That's a good one to go to. There's a really good end. You want to hear the end.
Oh, yeah. That end is juicy AF.
That end is, we got to do a short of that end because that was like
juicy.
What did you just say? Anyway, so what kills me, though, is that they've been running their mouths forever saying that the reason that other countries, like with obesity care, right, that all of those people, that the reason they can afford it is because the NHS is negotiating, right, with Eli Lilly or whatever. That's not how it works for obesity care, guys. They don't do obesity care through NHS. It's private. So the price is the price. So how are we blaming it? How is the UK ahead on this? Right? Like how? It doesn't make any sense because it's the PBMs and the bullshittery here. And bottom line, Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, all of them, they're going to charge whatever the market will bear. Right? So we have to have legislation to say it's not okay. And I'm not saying that we need, we do need healthcare reform big time. But at this point, though, it's like if you look at just the way these medicines are, you treat people and within months, we're having them have reversal of major problems that end up draining our economy. So it's not even like we're going to make this change and then in maybe 5 to 10 years, we'll see a difference. No, we're going to see difference fast. It's going to be a big deal. And I just think that like, we have to just keep getting loud about it because ultimately nobody cares about fat people. And they just don't the insurance company's been kicking the can down the road all the time. They've been kicking it down the road going, and in 3 to 5 years, they're going to be on a new plan and be somebody else's problem. They've all been doing it now. And now we're everybody's problem. So what do? We have to be obnoxious. We have to be loud. And I'll gladly be that person, clearly. Right. But I need you to help.
Let's be loud and obnoxious.
Let's be loud and obnoxious.
So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. 24 likes. Did we just lose a like?
How can one lose a like?
Well, if you like it and then you click on it again, it takes the like away.
So somebody
don't unlike it. Only like it once.
No, I think someone
I'm showing 25 on mine.
Okay, let me refresh my page.
I showed 25 on mine too. I think
I had 23 the last I looked. Now
I'm showing 26 attendance.
This is what's good about TikTok.
I was supposed to say 24.
Love. And
boom, 25.
Problem.
Come on, people, give us one.
I don't know if we're going to make it to 20 to 31.
Come on, people.
We can only have. There's only 25 people that can give it that make it possible. How many do we have?
25.
Oh no, that's everybody.
Everybody now. Yeah.
Okay, so since that's everybody, That is the entire live.
The good news is the replay on the lives do really well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lots of people like
do.
that.
I'm going to tell you guys.
Audio, you can listen to it.
So everybody is going to get what I promised you.
You're going to.
I do not lie. I do not lie.
You're fired, John.
Oh.
I'll rehire you tomorrow, but you're fired today.
Okay, fine. I'm fired. So, as my last
Dixie is fired too. She's on the job.
Never fires.
Dixie's to sleep on the job. She's fired.
Yeah, Dixie, you're fired.
Leave my baby.
All right.
She's
telling you.
Leave my baby alone.
Oh, she's like, you woke me up. I was sleeping.
Oh no, baby. We're gonna go upstairs in a minute, though. Okay, everybody. They just had the meeting with Dr. Kaplan.
Dr. Kaplan.
Dr. Kaplan, y'all. So next week,
he's the show.
The Dr. Kaplan.
The Dr. Kaplan.
The Dr. Kaplan.
Though the one that Dr. Kaplan there was an LSU scrub on TikTok.
Yeah.
That was on the Jillian Michaels thing on News
Nation with Dan Abrams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I want y'all to remember this. I've given you guys love and shown you guys love.
The other thing, though,
your daddy. Look how much
you have to make sure you're subscribed and paying attention, because the other thing is going to drop in November, and it's going to be
that's freaking big.
Are we going to make that a members only thing?
Cool as hell.
No, we don't gain knowledge. We may offer all knowledge early. We don't gain it. That's not what.
So essentially what Bear did was give us the preview for next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're very welcome, Sandra.
Thank you so much for becoming a member, Sandra.
Look at Dixie just leaning in on her daddy. Oh my goodness.
Okay, last tea, and then we got to wrap up. So the last thing we were going to say is there was a study that just came out, and I believe there's 2 parts of it that Dave was talking about this week. And the study has to do with childhood obesity with semaglutide and liraglutide, and a 33% reduction in suicidal thoughts and actions.
Oh, and that's big.
That's huge,
because it was the other way around, especially like with suicide ideation. With they found numbers that were kind of stacked up with bariatric patients that were under 18.
Yeah.
That there was a higher instance of suicide ideation of patients that had bariatric surgery, teenagers. But this is freaking big if it's actually starting to drop.
Yeah.
I
know 33%. Yeah, it's huge for him. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think like if I don't know if anybody else like dealt with obesity their whole life, but I always have. Now, my mom, we've got Moments with Mom, which is a new segment for members only, where my mom and I talk about diet culture and all the things and unwinding, and we just kind of talk through it together. So if you like that kind of thing, like members get access to that. But we were just sort of talking about it, and she was like, I don't remember ever weight being like us caring about your weight. We only cared about your health. And I'm like, I get that. And she's like, and I don't remember your weight being a thing for a while. And I was like, well, no, my weight was a thing, not for you. I go, but the kids were making fun of me my whole life. I was always the tallest and the biggest and the fattest and the roundest face and the one that hasn't lost her baby fat. Like, we talk about that, and it was awful. It really was. And I think that there were certain things that I learned to do to survive, and certain things I learned to do to thrive. And usually it was being funny, right? Like, I found ways to be funny, be the funny person. And I remembered one time when a guy that used to bully me, somehow I made him laugh. And then one time he was talking about somebody else being fat to me. And I realized he didn't see me as fat anymore. And I was like,
it was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was in like middle school when I realized that.
Challenged him back. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's such a psychology. It is a psychology of all that, of bullying.
No, I realized funny, fix that.
Psychology of,
yeah. And I was just a young kid. So I've been dealing with this my whole life, Mm-hmm. And so I wish that I had known about that I had been at an age where I could have done something like this and had this be available. I didn't even know that pediatric bariatric surgery was a thing until we had Dr. Rosen on the show in season 1. I didn't even know it was a thing, but it is, So yeah, if you don't have to change a child's body forever, right? Or an adolescence, because we're an adolescent here, right? Yeah. An adolescent's body forever, and you can give them a medication that's proved over 20 years to be safe, right? Then why wouldn't we at least try that first, right? Why wouldn't we at least try to get it at a place where that person isn't going? Like, I get this is all scary and it's our kids and all the things, but any of us that have struggled with obesity, a lot of us will go, I kind of wish now that we know what we know, right? Indeed. And what if you're able to get your body in terms of insulin resistance to a place where you never cross over that threshold to where you're having to deal with it forever? Like, these are all very important things to consider, you know? So I know it's hard, but it's worth a lively debate, that's for sure. But that was the last bit of tea for this evening. I know it was a lot.
Yeah.
Also, I'll be on Dr. Rentia's podcast this next week.
Hi, Dr. Rentia.
We love you. So if you don't follow it, it's the obesity guide, right? That's what we call it, right? Isn't it? It's late. The obesity guide. That's what it's called, right?
I think it is. Yes. Hang on.
The guy with Dr. Rentia. Yeah. So that's exciting.
I only listen to it. I don't pay attention to the title.
Oh, we also got invited on the other show. I got to reply back to them. Okay. Sorry. Squirrel. All right, guys.
And Kim, I just want you to notice how I offered a carrot. And for the carrot, we got the 25 likes. I just want to point out that Bear did something right.
I think we got the 26 too, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. That's right. It doesn't count mine when I look at it.
Well, hopefully everybody's very excited for the one next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
I just want to point out that Bear has done 3 things right.
Okay.
Recently.
And I just want to say thank you to Kim and to Kat. And I can't include Bear in this at this point because I didn't know you were working in the background, but for helping me get on my GLP-1 journey by
it's awesome.
Because if it wasn't for you ladies, I would have never, ever gone in and known how to even ask my doctor if it wasn't for you guys. I've been on this journey, so I will forever be grateful for you guys.
Well, I can tell you just.
And Bear, and I know you were always an integral part. I just didn't know you enough.
No, I prefer to be in the background. I've only recently started to be in the forefront. It's not always the easiest for me to do because of my autism. But I can tell you that as a person who has had to sacrifice a lot along the way for her journey, it means the world to me to know the positive effect what her and the girls have done over the last year has had on people. When we had the event and everybody was walking up to me and telling me how much she has affected them and how I've affected them through the fact that I've, been, a rock for her, it's meant so much because it means that the sacrifice has been for something. Rather we're famous, rather, the podcast has 1 million followers or not. That's not how I'm measuring the success. I'm measuring the success by the fact that we have all these people telling us and showing us that we've made a change in their life. And that's the most beautiful thing of all of this. It's making that change and then seeing the people just
get
not
better.
The physical change. Screw that. It's the mental change.
It is.
It's the mental change I've seen in Kat. And I've known Kat for over 10 years. And it's the mental change I see in my wife. And it's the mental change I see in other people just from videos.
Yeah.
You see people before they get on the shot. You see people after they get on the shot. It's the fact that it's changing lives. And it's the fact that we had some small part in the fact that they took that step or that they've continued to take that step. That's just an awesome thing. I'm sorry. I'll get off my soapbox.
But thank you for saying that.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
It's a lot,
But it's true.
It's the best thing we've ever done, but it's probably the hardest. You know what I mean? So we appreciate that because we're like,
thanks, Bear.
I know I don't talk about the fact that I'm a Christian a lot, but I am. And so we've been walking in faith doing this because I have felt led to do it and God leads sinners. Right. So I felt from the beginning. So I'm thankful that it's helped anyone. I don't want to get super religious or anything. This is God doing this. This is not.
No, it's not us. It's everything that we've done from starting this to going to DC, all of it has
lots
been,
lots of stumbling, but
it's been because we felt it.
Yeah.
We felt a draw to do it. Like I felt that we needed to go to DC. I felt like
honestly,
I told her, I was just like, we need to go.
And I said, John, like when I started the podcast, I was like, I want to start this podcast. And at first he was like, you really need to think about this. This is a lot of work. And then I came to him the next day and he said to me, he goes, honestly, I've been feeling this feeling that God wants us to take this leap. And he was like, and I'm with you. My husband's autistic. My husband doesn't like change, or new or non-guaranteed.
You've been doing a whole lot of changing.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of changing, a lot of growing. We've all been doing a lot of growing.
Yeah. I think this community has made, I think all of us have become stronger. Does that make sense? Like we all have become so much more mentally stronger than we used to be. Like I learned from Kim. Kim tells me, no, don't shrink anymore. So my coping mechanism was always to shrink, to be quiet, because I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I didn't want to be made fun of. So yeah. But I feel like it's all of us. There's a piece to all of us that has made us so much stronger.
Yeah. It's amazing when you can heal sick people, like what they can do. And I think that's when the greatest honor to see people get better. And if we've been able to help at all, that's worth everything. I think that we'll look back and I don't know, 5 years or whatever it is on the time that we spent doing this. And I think that we'll feel proud about the work that we did. And I hope that it's meant a lot to people. And thank you for continuing to watch the show and tell people about the show and show up.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Dee.
Thanks for moving.
Your story is amazing.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
Thank
you for sharing your story, because that was kick ass. I'm telling you, that was a great story. That was like a movie.
She said, when Janis Joplin was a size 6, that's what Amy Schumer, I think is she now? I don't know. She's on a GLP-1 now, but that was Amy Schumer's gripe for the longest, was like, I'm a freaking size 6. Why are you guys calling me a
right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. True. Yeah, totally. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
and I gotta tell y'all, knowing what I know about Janis Joplin, just the idea that anybody thought she was heavy, considering everything that woman was on,
that was the beauty standard. Yeah.
I don't know how she could have kept anything down.
She was not a small human, though, right? Like she was.
Oh no, she wasn't. But
she wasn't that big. She really was.
She was not. Yeah.
Just compared to the way other women then looked, like Michelle Phillips, all the, she just looked big by those standards. That's all.
To give you a comparison, baby, Janis Joplin looked a lot like my mom.
Oh, okay.
Before my mom got sick, roughly the same body size and stuff was basically Janis Joplin.
Your mom's really trim, but she's wider bone.
But that was kind of what Janis Joplin was. Janis Joplin, it wasn't at least in any pictures or videos I've ever seen, it wasn't like there was rolls of fat or anything like that.
Not when you're 6.
The stuff that you typically think about leading to obesity or somebody being fat, it's not like that was there. Which is how come, knowing the things that I know, it's to hear Dee say that was just really surprising to me.
That makes me think my mom on her way of trying to be nice about it. She was like, Kathy, Rita Moreno was chubby. Mom, have you seen West Side Story? What? Mom.
Yeah.
But that
chubby where? Chubby where? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She was not chubby, FYI.
Okay. No, big bones were considered chubby back then. Maria, she was anyway. Any type of thickness.
All right. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to console you. I'm trying to make my daughter feel. This is not helping, Mom.
Sorry, everybody. I went off on multiple tangents.
Tangent. Welcome to the show driven by ADHD people and an autistic guy.
Yeah. So Pfizer, whoever has Vyvanse, Ritalin. Yeah.
Right. Mine's all worn off now, so that's why I'm such a space cadet tonight. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. That's what happens tonight. Okay. All right. We're gonna roll our beam footage. Do not forget next week. Really good episode.
Yep.
Please consider becoming a member if you are not. It definitely helps us to continue to do the things that we are doing. If you're interested in our merch store, I will give the link is on our website. but I will, you can go if you want to get something. It'll be great. And we'll have that giveaway soon, so you can sign up, and we'll do all the things, and we'll have a live where we do it all. It'll be super fun. Okay.
It is so fun.
Yep. And remember, everybody, when you're a member, a paid member on YouTube or a paid member through our audio platform, all episodes are available to you guys 24 hours early than everybody else.
Yep. So. And we have our additional content that we're doing, like highlight reels of things.
Yep, highlight reels and stuff. I'm going to be doing a highlight reel. I'm trying to find it right now of that actual Senate hearing where they came up with the PBM stuff, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm really interested in that. I've seen some other ones that just weren't that good. So,
and he's like taking out grandstanding, so it's just like what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
how I do all this nonsense that I do. It's the truth. That's what I'm doing.
It is. Yeah, I'm weeding out the grandstanding for you guys.
That's what I'm saying. Bernie Sanders, he's a content creator. That whole corporate greed thing that he does is beautiful. It's the best hook ever. Like, that's how you keep people's attention.
Oh, all of them
are doing.
All of them are content creators. It's how come I tune in and watch shit every time it's on, because at the end of the day, I get more entertainment out of watching the Senate hearing than I do some other things. It's really freaking sad. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to shut up now.
Right. Okay. All right. Bean footage. Okay.
20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus SideZ Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus SideZ Podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus SideZ Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus SideZ Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
I love you guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening.
See you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
For grandstanding.